Let me try this again. Helios, quit licking my feet, you weird fetish dog. Quit. Right.
Hey,
All right, so I've got y'all tagged.
okay. What's going on, Tim? Y'all going to Troy this weekend? And that's for Tim and for you, Amanda.
I'm only 20 points away with Adonis. I'm gonna be there Saturday.
Heck yeah. 20 points?
Yep.
Is that confirmed?
Well, coming directly from Terry. Yeah.
You know I had to give you.
Sorry, it's a little dark.
What's
What up?
What is
going
that? Is that a garage door in the background?
No, it's a cattle gate.
Ah.
Freaking, I'm about to go grab me some pizza.
What's up? What's happening, crew?
Bruce,
What's up with y'all?
Oh,
What up?
right.
what's going on, Bruce?
Who was that?
Bruce!
Jonathan Cucumber? What's up, Cucumber?
It's so good to see you, Bruce.
Surprise, Bruce,
I'm
surprise.
happy to see all of y'all, man.
Oh,
Hey, I was about to say, man, this lady got
Yeah,
a
we
beard,
decided we were just,
mustache, and everything.
it's
What?
the bearded lady.
yes. Yeah, Bruce.
Hey,
So,
what?
and so apparently she went to pick up a litter, our guest, Allison Cole.
Mhm.
And hopefully she'll be joining us. Yeah, last minute. Like, man, all the different titles she has, I'm sure it's very, very busy and literally going to pick up a litter last minute.
Yeah.
And she's been in contact all week, letting Amanda know what's going on. So she still plans on getting on. So we'll just kind of play it by ear to see, and if we got to reschedule her. But Jonathan Cucumber is our temporary fill-in guest, and thank you, Jonathan, for joining us, my man. You can
Not a
always count on the
problem.
cucumber.
Oh, yeah,
Not a
no
problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Just want to let y'all know, Allison A.C. Cole was the first judge that ever awarded me a first place, and that was my first show I ever went to.
Heck,
Oh, nice.
that's cool. The ties, and we didn't even know that when we were.
We really didn't.
What?
We
That's
didn't.
cool that y'all have ties. Like, that she was supposed to be on, and you filled in, and y'all have ties to each other. So that's really cool. It's a small
Oh,
world,
yeah.
man. The bully community.
It
Yeah,
is.
freaking.
That's
She
good and bad.
She was the first judge to ever give me an award. She's flown to California to grab me a dog from Anthony's son, Maleficent. She hosts her own show, a Blow Cold dog show, bully show. She's a really good girl. She's a really good gal, man. Freaking Allison, if you're really cool with her, she'll go to the end of the world for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm super
excited about having her on. I know that she's super busy, so when we were, trying to get her
She's
on the schedule,
definitely a
I was just like,
busybody.
it's
She's
whatever
always
you
working.
need. Oh, absolutely.
Shoot, that's awesome. Definitely seems like she has a lot of hustle and respect that. Like that many titles, like it's hard to be an expert at one, like a professional at one, professional handler. But then
Right.
you're in
Yep.
you're judging, you're putting on shows. And Jonathan, you can attest to that.
Yep.
And then being a breeder, just in general by itself, what comes with that? Dewan Hall, what up, my man?
What's up, Dewan?
November 11th, Southern Bully Showdown. Go ahead and put it, my man. Go ahead and put
Plug.
it.
You already
Respect. Put
know.
it.
Speaking of
Yes.
being busy and shows and whatnot, Jonathan, how's the plan for 2024 going?
Unfortunately, it's still. I'm waiting on the venue for confirmation.
Yeah.
Freaking. Oh man, it's a headache in a good way when you think about it, because freaking as a host, at least for me, it's like whenever I host a show, like I try to imagine like exactly how it's supposed to be ran,
Mhm.
what the people are going to be thinking, et cetera, because I'll put my place in y'all's shoes as I'm a consumer, and it's just something that you have to take pride in. And freaking it's a beauty. It's like a flower, man. You just gotta wait for that thing to blossom and bloom, and once it does, you appreciate it. We're gonna have 4 BRC shows with Kevin Green. We're gonna have an all kids fun show, a small dog fun show, and an XL fun show, and all 7 best in show winners will compete for best in show. The hardware is gonna be on point as usual, but freaking it's gonna be a lot more trophies.
I'm just excited because my goal is I had to miss it last year because I had a family related thing.
I
Um, but
understand.
uh, yeah, this year I would really, or next year 2024, I'd really like to make it. So it's just one of those things I've been like kind of watching very closely,
Closely.
trying to make sure that I know where it's at, when it's at.
It's the area that I've chosen in Katy. It's right by my parents' place. It's huge. This place is huge. We're gonna have 4 rings. Um, the show's gonna run smoothly. We already got the formula down to make sure like things run smoothly. If things go wrong, what can we do? It's just like being in tune, like a fine-tuned engine, to make sure everything gets done correctly.
Caleb said, send him an invite.
I did. It keeps telling me there's an error or technical issue on his end. I wonder if he needs to, if he needs to leave, come back, and then send a request on his part and see if that works. Because I've tried like 3 or 4 times and it keeps on giving me an error. It says, "No, Caleb, for you."
You know what? After
Caleb's
he
just
texted,
shy. He don't want to get back on.
That's what
now
it is.
after he texted Dewan, he went away. That's why I don't hardly text anymore, because mine do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
It'll just put me away. It just blocked me off.
I'm actually kind of glad mine hasn't sent me off because of the power. Like my power just came back on, like right before here it goes. I think it's adding in. But yeah, like lots of
Caleb,
times, lots of lightning.
I don't know what happened.
it's so good to see
After you
you.
text Dewan, you went away.
Exactly. I clicked on it to message him, and then I dissipated, and I was just a viewer, and I kept clicking it. Hey, just see anything happen. I was just watching.
It's at
But
Walmart
I'm back.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah. But hey, Jonathan, you said you're gonna have four rings at this 2024.
Yep.
So how is it gonna run? So are they all gonna be sanctioned for the rings, or are they gonna be 2 of them fun shows? Like, how are you gonna run this?
So if we get this venue in the first part of the venue where there's like a bunch of bleachers at, I'm not going to be doing as many booths strictly because the amount of people that are going to be there, at least what I'm predicting, because I want to make sure I have a good flow. We're going to have the first part of the venue is going to have 2 rings. It's going to have 2 BRC shows going. And then in the back, we're going to, after the junior handlers are done, we're going to start the XL fun show and the all kids only fun show. And we'll have my ring stewards and all 4 rings, calling classes, all that good stuff. And BRC obviously will go first because they're sanctioned. And by the time BRC is done with their 2 shows, they'll have 2 more. And whatever small kids fun show, gets fixed, not fixed, gets done. And the XL fun show, whatever finishes first, the small dog fun show will start in. And then after that, all the best in show winners will compete.
Heck yeah.
It seems like a lot, but it's like you just gotta it's a little bit of experience, you know what I mean? You gotta make sure you get it all freaking rolling how it's supposed to go, like a fine-tuned machine.
Absolutely. 4 rings, man. That's a lot. That's got to be
That's
a
a lot.
big venue to
That's a
have.
lot.
And I know you're an XL guy, so I know that the rings are a good size because me and you've talked about it numerous occasions about how big the rings need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're gonna do probably 2 40 by 40s in the front. We're gonna do a 60 by 40 in the back and another 40 by 40 in the back too.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bigger ring's gonna be for the XLs, but freaking, I just want to make feet like, cause you go to some shows sometime and you're just like, man, how's my dog gonna gate in this ring? It's only like it's barely big enough.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure that you give your supporters enough opportunity to be able to feel like they can actually get placed or, to get the best out of, showing their dog. And that's what it's really about. I was at the jungle this weekend and freaking, I'll say this, hats off to June Williams. Man, freaking people can complain all they want to, bro. Just keep doing what you're doing. We see what you're doing. And, if anyone's ever been hosted a show before, they know a lot of the unspoken things are really what sort of the straw that broke the camel's back, man. You just got to stay strong. And, people as consumers got to understand it's not just like, oh, let's just go get some trophies, throw them on the table and go from there. Like, no, it's a lot. Like, you got to pay for everyone to get there. You got to have it all set up. You got to have everything running and going, because if you don't, everyone's going to point the finger at you. Even if it's not your fault, even if a fight breaks out, it's always the show's host's fault.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Your name.
And a lot of people don't realize that the show host can't control grown adults, how they're going to act. You can just only say like, hey, show some respect and freaking, act like how you're supposed to act. But, some people, they get their egos and it goes from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's tough. Man, June throws. Was this your first jungle or?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it? Like, how was the experience, man?
Man, I'll say this, man, freaking, I had nothing but love and respect from everyone that was at that show. I know there was one guy like screaming, trying to prove his point about a Frenchie at one point, but like no one like fed into the bullshit. Everyone was there. Everyone had a smile on their face. It wasn't overly done. Like everyone that was there had a great time. Everyone was networking. I had my dot card around my freaking shirt, and I was just going up to random people, be like, "Hey, excuse me, I don't want to be rude or interrupt y'all's conversation, but I want to see if you want to network." And I would just pull out my dot card, bro. They would take their phones out. I would tap their phone, and I got like 600 followers, bro, just by going around.
600?
Yeah.
Nice. Man, those.
I wasn't even like going hard with it. I was just going around, like, hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. Bam bam bam. And freaking, I have a lot more people. I passed out the November 18th show, the Texas Most Wanted in Gatesville show that we're doing with Marcus Johnson and Karina Mateo.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good people coming out. Plus, we're working our December 9th show with 2 USBR shows and 1 mega fun show and a drive-in movie theater afterwards. Freaking, so after all the shows are done, all that good stuff, we found a projector off of Amazon and a big inflatable like screen, and it was right at $500. And we can hook it up to like an adapter to where you can turn into your car radio like it does back in the day. Bruce, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And you can turn it onto a radio station, turn your car on, have AC, and you can watch the movie and hear it from your car speakers.
Yeah.
And just something a little different for everybody, but it's around the Christmas time, so we're gonna put out a Christmas movie for everyone to watch, and just have a good time, man. Bring something different to the table. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. Hey, so man, Jonathan, you put on shows, and Amanda, I know that you voiced your opinion the last few days, and I would like to know kind of what y'all feel about this. I know it's kind of the elephant in every room that's bully talk right now. So, with the registries right now, like, Jonathan, Amanda, before you even think about going, and I know that you're very well spoken, and I know I'm putting you on the spot because I want to get to, but yeah, Jonathan, what do you think of kind of the judging and things like that? And let's talk about it.
I'll say this, man. You can take a picture of any one of my dogs and to have a bad angle, and you can post some and roast somebody.
There we go.
The thing of it is, man, is like I've won a lot, I've lost a lot. And every time I go into my room, just like y'all do, that compete in shows and see all your awards, sometimes you'll think like, damn, look at how much money I spent. But the thing of it is like, not every judge is perfect. Yes, they have to have credentials to freaking, get their title of being a judge, either champion out or grand champion of that registry producing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Each registry is different. Like some registries don't want to do dual sanction shows. Some registries have different standards for their XLs, their pockets, this, that, and the other. Some registries even have beef with each other. I'm not mentioning any names because it's not my place. That's not my business. I'm just shooting it from what I see. If you choose a wrong dog, I've lost to a freaking dog that looked like a pit bull with Loretta on her first ABKC show, and Loretta had better conformation. But on her gait, because I would let my dog sleep all day, she's very tired and she didn't want to freaking do all that towards my show 4. So yeah, I feel some type of way about, my dog not winning. But on a performance-wise, you can't be kennel blind. You have to look and actually see your dog. Yes, if your dog doesn't win, you can't win them all, man. You can't win them all. And freaking, if you do decide you want to ask this judge, like, hey, why didn't I win, blah, 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 they're entitled to tell you. They're supposed to tell you what you need to work on and why they chose that other dog. And if you ask any of my judges, they'll let you know. But there's a picture of that dog. You're like, oh, look at this super high rear, man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, if you take a picture of my dog and freaking while it's nervous, of course its back legs are going to tense up.
Yeah.
But freaking, it's like you can take a bad angle, but also if you take a picture of the dog actually like stacked all the way how the owner wants to stack it, freaking, you'll have a better angle. It's all about the angle and what the camera captures. Angle's worth 1,000 words. But if there's a problem with a registry that you're not really too happy with, go up to the representative. Go talk to the representative. Be like, I understand, I didn't win, but, I would like to talk to someone about this and get in the point of contact of talking to the person, or even, keep talking to the judge after he's done working the show if he wants to talk to you about it. Don't freaking be like a salty heifer and start like trying to bash a registry for what it did, because nothing's perfect. You're not going to win them all, but there's a lot of self-entitlement when it comes to shows, because people think they're all like, oh, I'm such and such, I have 500,000 subscribers on my TikTok page or my YouTube or my Instagram or my Facebook. I'm the best there ever was, best there ever will be. I'm no Alexander, he's an Alexander. Like, this, that, and the other. Like, you got to humble yourself, man. You can't win them all. I have a national champion, and she can't win them all either. Freaking, she didn't really want to work with me that much at the jungle, but I got second place, but I wasn't crying.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Hey, I'm Nixon.
What?
How do you feel about it? Because I know, and I'm not meaning to put you on the spot, but I am meaning to put you on the spot, because these are conversations that really need to be had, and with it being so fresh, all of us have been on shows and know enough dog where we talk about it, and it should be an open forum in a well-spoken way.
Mhm.
But
Well, I look at it this way, and this isn't just. Yes, this particular conversation started really again recently, but it is a conversation that we've had ever since last year. This is incredibly similar to a situation that happened at a Birmingham show that I was physically there for. So before anybody has the opportunity to say, "Oh, well, you weren't there," I was. I saw the dog that should not have won, and so on and so forth. This dog carried a lot of the same traits, if not pretty much all of them. Maybe not as severe, I feel, as that dog that, was the subject of the conversation last year, but it did. And it was just one of those things where, in my mind, obviously, we, you know, we need to have these discussions so that we can better the breed amongst ourselves, but it's not just our responsibility. It is also the responsibility of judges to pick the better specimen. But the problem is they are picking the best of the worst. And that literally, there have been 4 or 5 judges that literally verbatim said, we're picking the best of the worst right now. And it does boil down to that. I mean, there is truth to that. I mean, people are bringing subpar dogs, into the ring. And at that point, they could either withhold a lot, you know, or, they can go ahead and just, again, pick the best of the worst and just hope that people know better in the end. Like, yes, I'm picking this dog that has, this high rear, these other faults or whatever the case may be, but we're hoping that when they breed this dog, which is inevitable, that they breed those traits out
Yeah.
of it eventually. And then maybe this dog's productions that we see in the ring in the future will be more correct. That's it's a good bit of idealism. I don't think it's a realistic expectation entirely, but it's not impossible either. But that takes them being, more upfront and more verbal, just like Jonathan said earlier. Like, judges do need to be very, very upfront with these people, saying, hey, listen, I picked your dog because it has breed type more so than the other dogs in the ring. However, with that said, moving forward, these traits do need to be improved upon. Maybe don't bring this back in the ring.
Yeah.
It's in that, and they need, I mean, sometimes you got to hit that F these people's feelings, moments, so, you're not discouraging them from breeding. You're just discouraging them from breeding poorly.
I completely agree with you. Yep. Bruce, big Bruce. Have you seen, before, have you seen taking place kind of with the topic of, there's a lot of kind of back and forth about the judging of different registries and things like that. And have you been keeping up with, kind of what's taking place with that?
A little bit. I just try to suck up what you guys be, talking about, because I never be at the shows, I know that Amanda was talking about some about that once before, but I just try to listen in on that. I can't really, I can't really say about it too much, because, like I said, I don't go to shows anymore. So I just listen at y'all, elaborate on that situation. That's all I can do right now. You know what I'm saying? But I know what you guys are talking about, though. I get what you're saying, but
Yeah. And man, I feel like, yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. If you look at it from,
So you and you know what though, it always gonna be sometimes that you go to the show you gonna say, how did that dog win? You know what I'm saying? How did that dog win?
yeah,
But
It's
whoever thinks
always
judging is
been like
easy
that.
is wrong.
Hmm?
Whoever thinks judging is easy is wrong, because
It's not.
not only what sucks about being like a judge is like, people think like because they're your friend that they're gonna win. And like whenever I went to Missouri and judged there, there was a person there that knew me really well, and I told him why they didn't place is because freaking, hey, whenever you can't stack the back legs, like, it affects your top line and the conformation of the dog. Yes, you have great conformation on your dog, but whenever you're in the ring, you're not showing its best abilities, and you're not showing that conformation. And this person got mad at me, and then I showed him a video. I was like, look, if you were me and this is what you saw, what dog would place if this wasn't your dog? And he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's what you presented, so that's what you got.
Yeah.
And, you know, this person was a little upset about it.
He done muted his phone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Uh-oh.
Did we get Walmart Wi-Fi a moment?
He muted his phone again.
Can y'all hear me?
Jonathan,
We can hear you now.
yeah.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, somehow
Okay.
I just muted your.
But
Hey,
what's it
but
called?
I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. When ABKC got started, it was always a political thing. Okay, you have friends winning. You know, if your friend is a judge, you're gonna win, no matter how your dog looked. You know what I'm saying? I guess they was trying to get a point system up or something like, you know what I'm saying? But that's really what got me stopped showing dogs
Yeah.
because of that. They
Yeah.
wasn't being fair. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't being fair. And like, you know, it was bad back. Caleb, I told you about that. Remember? I told you about that. It was awful. It was awful. But you know, a few times of that, man.
Yeah.
But
And I agree with that.
it has got better. It's got better, but it's still there. But it's got better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this: if you're my friend and I know you're a show person and you know what I'm telling you, what you need to work on, you don't do it. That's just more of a downfall for yourself. That's just me as a judge.
Oh yeah, you take homework with you. You take homework back with you after every single show, and it's just, it is absolutely your prerogative. If you're going to fix the things that they say that you need to fix. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's certain things that you can't fix, but the ones that you can work on those.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with that. But yes, there needs to be more structure to prevent things like this, I believe. But yes, politics are involved in everything business because human nature, human error is there. Human emotion creates decisions. And so if you know someone, your emotions might be tied to them, which gets the decision there. So I believe there should be strict guidelines to prevent things like this. You know, if you're a judge of a registry, I don't feel that you should show because there is emotions there and there's going to be ties there that may lead to a decision. So I think that's my opinion on that because, yeah, it is tough. You know, when you're going up, if you go in the ring and, not talking about specific registry, if you go into a ring and there is a judge of that registry in the ring with you, you automatically like, this is about to be tough. About to be very tough. They could be showing a dog of less caliber, but it's very tough because
You're
they
going
know
up
what
against Kobe
punishment.
Bryant, like it's
Yes. And they just had dinner the night before, like it's so.
See, man.
But see, I'm not trying to be messy about it, but I'm saying like politics. Everyone sits there and says it's always going to be politics. It's always going to be
Always.
politics when it comes to humans and when it comes to business, because money's involved and emotions are involved. So politics are going to take
Yep.
place. It's
Yep.
it's it's going to happen. But we have guidelines to restrict that. Now, like what Jonathan said, I agree with that. I think that was a terrible picture that went viral very, very quickly
yeah.
because someone is always snapping a picture or even videotaping and going back and trying to find a bad image of your dog.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say that while some folks are okay with just seeing the one picture, there's a lot of folks that like they'll kind of go out of their way to be like, wait a minute, and they'll actually scour trying to find other pictures, other angles, other lighting, of this particular dog. I have actually seen other pictures of this dog from a multitude of angles periodically throughout the day. Um, and yes, that one picture, it almost has gives the impression that they caught it right as soon as the dog like exhaled.
Really?
Every dog dips a little bit behind the shoulders when they
Yeah.
exhale. It's just the way that it is. So it looks like in all reality, it does look like that's what happened. That sway is not that deep. And all the other pictures that I saw, its rear is definitely still high, higher than it ought to be. But at the same time, the sway isn't as bad. So obviously, it's not as horrific as that one picture would suggest. But again, like, it's still not a dog I personally would breed to. But that's, again, I don't know what else was in that ring at any given point that day. We didn't see any videos of them gating. I mean, I did, but not really a lot else that you can sit there and just be like, well, the judge picked it because it just had more breed type than the rest of the dogs in the
Yeah,
ring.
I wonder what the reason is, because they do see it from a different angle as us. They see different things. They're looking at different things. They do have a trained eye, so I'm not
Mm-hmm.
discrediting, but
Yeah.
there has been some extremes, and that's why things have gone viral like they have. But
Yeah.
it's tough. It's got to be very tough to be a judge. So I'm
Oh,
not
yeah, for
here
sure.
going down
The
on
gate
limbs.
is just as important as the stack. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna put it that way.
You
And
can't hide anything. You can
I'll
hide
even
stuff
say
with
it.
the stat.
I'll say it
exactly.
straight up on this live. The best kennel that I've ever seen regarding to gating is Natalie Asa. Her dogs move like they're a feather in the wind.
Yeah.
And freaking all it is just working with your dogs like 15 minutes a day. Like, people are like, oh, my dog's the best, I don't gotta work with it. Like, no, you have to work. It's just like prepping for a swimming competition for the Olympics. You have to know how to swim if you're going to be in the competition.
Yeah.
Kind of a
And
thing.
the thing, if you think you know how to swim, well, we're going to see how fast you can actually swim for the competition. Like, if you think you're the best, you have to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Oh,
let me
yeah.
ask y'all something.
And the
Let me ask y'all,
thing, yeah, these, huh?
like all three of y'all, okay, y'all show. Do you think that judges make mistake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do they make
They're
mistakes?
human
Okay,
beings.
when
Absolutely.
when they make that mistake, they can't take them back, right?
Uh,
Right? Can they take them back?
I
I just want to
What
know
I don't
mistake
for
think,
myself.
again?
I don't know if they can. I don't know
Yeah,
if they can take it back. I think it would have to be the registry. Like, it has to be someone who works for the actual registry that would basically take the points back. But I don't know if it's the actual judge themselves that have the authority to do that. I'm not quite sure. We would need a judge on here
that's
to
a great
get
question, Bruce.
that.
And I'm trying to make a point. Like, I like where you're going here.
yeah.
Okay, I actually had an experience like this before, actually, for an ABKC show about points being taken away because of certain things. If y'all want to hear the story, you can. But
Why else are you here, Jonathan? You want stories? Give us the juice.
okay, one time, this was UBK Hurricane of Cash Out Kennel's first show. She's at her new home now, just for my own personal reasons. So I was making room. But we went to an ABKC show, and she's a Merle,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't see her spots. And I'll bet $100,000 if you don't know where her Merle spots are, you won't be able to find them. So I
Mm-hmm.
go into a ring and I beat this dog, and this person reports me because I advertise she's a Merle, blah blah blah.
Straight to
And
your Facebook page and start scrolling.
and what's it called? I went up for review. Freaking, I got second place the rest of the day after this review, but they evaluated my dog. And they were like, is this a Merle? And I'm like, yeah, it's a Merle. Can't you tell? They're like, no. And I was like, of course you can't, because you don't know where her spots are. And they're like, are they visible? I'm like, if you had a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And the freaking judge, and Cindy actually came up. She's like, that's a ghost.
Sound kicked out, Jonathan.
Like, it's a gross Merle. I have one at the house, blah, blah, blah. You can't see the spot, so you're good. So the ABKC told me to reinstate my paperwork and change it from blotch to fawn. They gave me authorization to do that. But literally, after that show, after I won for Best XL Female, I got second place the rest of the day because of that reported issue. You know, I'm not saying it's because she's a Merle, this, that, and the other. But I feel like if they didn't report that, I would have probably swept the XL female class that day.
Very
But
well could have.
they were
Absolutely.
going to tell me, they were like, if you didn't change the color on this dog from blotch to fawn, they were going to revoke my points and give it to the reserve.
Correct.
So, first of all,
Yep.
why were you telling people? Why were you broadcasting that with Merle if you?
I ain't no way I would have said nothing.
He,
Because
he,
I
was, he
wanted to see
wasn't.
if I could, because I wanted to see if she could get in the ring. I was never planning on showing her.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's a lot of salty people in the show world that find anything and everything to try and get the dog disqualified for their dog to win. And it is what it is. I'm not going to lose any sleep out on it every day. Freaking, I wake up every morning. I thank God for waking up. So if I don't win them all, I really don't
Yeah.
care.
I thought you were going to say you
Hey,
wake up and piss excellence. I was waiting for it, and you didn't
No,
deliver.
I didn't want to
hey,
take it
man,
on.
look, I'm gonna tell you something. That's human nature. If anything to
Yeah.
jeopardize you from not winning, I mean,
Yeah.
they do it. You know what I'm saying? They gonna do it.
Competition.
I wouldn't have told nobody that. Yeah, competition. That's right.
Yes. People
Playful
Yeah,
secrets.
win, man. Crazy things to win.
yeah. People don't fight fair,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
You
Yeah. Hey,
Dude, I'm not gonna mention any names, but there was an ABKC show in Alabama. We one of my friends from Texas went down there, and
I was there for that.
Caleb, your
I
girlfriend,
was right next to them. I was right
Caleb,
next to them, so I saw the fallout. I was like, oh my
Caleb,
God.
because you're talking.
Caleb,
Ooh,
your girlfriend decided she wanted to
Oh.
report these people to ABKC, and literally this dog was like 3 days from
It was 6.
becoming like 1 year
It
old,
was
and this
6.
person lost. So she reported them so her dog could get freaking first place and get disqualified. I'm not saying no names, but I know, Caleb, I'm pretty sure y'all can catch the drift.
that got very interesting.
Well, it's not. See, but here's the thing: as I look at it this way, it's just like if you walk into a show, you know the rules, you know damn good and well, you know what they are, and just like you said, like I knew I couldn't show her. I was just going to test the waters. They did the
The thing of it is,
same thing. Just push came to shove, and someone said something. You technically, I mean, they weren't wrong in reporting it.
but technically, back in the day, that you could enter a puppy into an adult class, and all they would tell you is like you're doing this at your own risk. Meaning, because that dog isn't old enough, but you want to put it in there anyway for confirmation points. They're just like, hey,
Right.
if you lose, you know why you lost because
Right.
this dog isn't of age, but you can still put it in there, and if it wins, great. I've done that before, and I've asked before I've done it,
Yeah.
but
Hey.
it is what it is.
Did y'all see what Candy put in the comments? I think that would completely eliminate all of these issues is if a registry, she even put a senior judge or whether there's a committee or whatever it needs to go to. If it's a close decision where it's, or well, not even a close decision, where it's a landslide, the other way to actually debate it and reconsider the points. Reissue the points, whether it's a time frame, like a senior judge, whether it's the president of the company or something like that sits there and says, hey, I got to get in here because this is wrong. Because human errors do happen. So if there's
Right.
something where an error can be fixed by the registry, that would eliminate problems.
So I have a question for you on that. So is the show host going to be responsible for paying that extra $1,000 plus more to get this person out there, this senior judge? And plus, if you were to have that, and say, for instance, they want to revoke the winner from this one, this, that, and the other, which I've never seen done before. What's it called? What major is it going to count under? Is it going to count under that senior judge is the major for that show or that class of dog? Because that senior judge decided he wanted to take the reins on this call. The point of it is if you have a judge in a registry, it has to have credentials and has to be trained under a senior judge before you can even get awarded your judging credentials.
Yeah.
So if that's the case and someone's upset, that judge needs to go under review after the show and then see if he's still going to be able to judge for that registry or not based upon what the breed standard is.
I
That's
agree.
my question.
There's got to be limitations, because if it's just like in football where I'm going to challenge this, it's going to be every single person, because every person sits there and has bias. My dog's the best. So if you go up to a judge after every show and be like, review, I'm going to use my one review today. Like, I saw you doing the same thing on show 1. Get out of here. Like, people need to be honest with themselves too. So it's not just on the judges. Like, this is not a bash session. And I brought this up just so it's just this isn't the time. So please,
No.
viewers, please don't bash any
Oh,
registered
yeah, no.
judge,
Yeah.
because everyone needs to evaluate their dog. And there's dogs,
Or even
there's
bring
dogs,
dogs.
Thank you very much.
there's pet homes, like there's different stock of dogs, and people need to kind of understand that before they take a dog to a show, because if your dog's a lesser dog, your vision might be 20/20 in your head on what you see. It's not. Again,
Yeah. I mean, judges have such a
like,
tough job. I mean, they really, really do. I mean, I look at it this way, even though what they're there for is incredibly simple. It is literally, you're telling other breeders that's what you breed to, whether it be figuratively or literally. This is what you either need to aspire to or what you need to breed to into your program. That is what their job is. That one, guys. Hey, everybody look here. That one.
yeah,
That's their job. That's as simple as it gets. But the job itself, picking that dog, is a
yeah,
bitch. And there's just no way around it. It is a tough job. It takes years to understand the breed standard enough to know what you're looking at and to be able to dissect it. And again, it's not even just so much picking flaws as much as it is trying to pick the dog that is closest to the actual breed standard. And the thing is breed type is kind of the bare minimum. It's really that's where you start from. Either the dog has type or it doesn't. If the dog doesn't have type, it's not even part of the equation anymore. That dog is no longer, you're not even looking at it anymore. Like, you'll let them do their little cute little, gait in the ring. You'll let them stack them, check their teeth, all that good shit. But you're not actually going, like, you're not considering that dog anymore because it doesn't have type.
yeah,
You're going with the dogs in the ring that have type first and foremost. And at that point, again, in certain situations, you could be picking the best of the worst. Now, hopefully, people can start bringing better dogs for them to judge so that won't be the case.
yes.
Won't that be the day? Because I've had this conversation with several judges since the conversation started over the weekend. And I mean, essentially it is truly, it's a 50-50 thing. Like, yes, we need to bring better dogs, 100%. But
they have to be trained too.
if we're being kind of taught that substandard dogs can win, and that's all we're looking for. All we want to do is win, right? So if we can bring a substandard dog and win, we're not going to fix it. We're not going to fix a thing because we don't have to.
Yeah.
We're being told we don't have to, essentially. So it's kind of like this like, it's 50-50. Like, they've got to do, they've got to be more honest with us. They've got, instead of just giving the ribbons away and just being like, all right, next. They literally, like, it would behoove them to literally bring everybody close and to be like, all right, this is why I chose the way I did. So that way everybody's getting their homework. Everyone who probably shouldn't bring their dog back won't, and people that, their dog is a breeding tool as opposed to, show stock,
Yes.
knows it. You know what I mean? And at that point, now you know what you need to do to fix it. But that dog will not return to the ring. It's kind of the way that it should be going, so that, the people that don't really know any better learn better. Some people know better. A lot of people know better.
Can I interrupt real quick? Because I
You
think
know
I have a
interrupting.
great example for this whole thing. Does everyone know UEK Theros?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
does.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
the boy he got from
That is
Brazil, correct?
yeah, he got from Brazil.
Mhm.
That dog is an exceptional looking dog, right? Can we all agree?
That's a bull.
Yes. Okay. I'm not throwing my mentor, Josh Stanley, under the bus. I respect him, and this is just a conversation we had after a show that he brought Tharos to.
Mhm.
He showed me pictures, and he's like, I don't understand why Tharos didn't win. I'm like, well, show me pictures and show me a video if you can of Tharos in the ring and how you're
Catch this
presenting.
out. Yeah.
And he showed me, and I was like, Josh, this isn't Sinatra. Like, whenever you were showing him, like, I understand you haven't been in the show world for a little bit, you know, because you have things going on, this, that, and the other.
Burning
But bro,
down houses.
from these pictures, it looks like he has a high rear because he's leaning back and his back legs are straight.
Mhm.
I'm like, if you stacked him properly, kind of like how I did Stud Muffin over at Mesquite, you know, that picture that Mr. Moses Ortega uses,
Yeah.
that's perfect almost. It's almost perfect how it was stacked. I'm like, Josh, you got to walk with this dog. You got to freaking stack it properly, this, that, and the other. The reason Tharos didn't sweep that show like you thought he would and how he's supposed to is literally by how he was presented.
Yeah.
And he's a bull, this, that, and the other. Yeah, he could sweep literally any XL show that he was in if he was trained correctly. I'm not revealing my chess pieces now, but Tharos is going to be at ABKC Nationals this year.
Really?
And that dog's going to be a machine ready to go. But like I said, man, you can have the best bull in the world, but if you present it and it's not best to its ability, you're not going to win like you think you are.
Yeah.
And Josh, you know, he's a great guy. He knows. I explained it to him after, and he saw why he did it because I presented him his mistakes just like he does me, with all due respect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey,
And the thing of it is we can be kennel blind and we can, you know, think we have the best dog ever, but you have to like actually take the videos and look and see what you're doing and fine tune and edit it so you can give the dog's best representation of its confirmation of that said registry.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, real quick, Jonathan, man, I'm going to interrupt too. I love what Candy, I love what she put a while ago, and I love the conversation that's taking place between her and John Taylor.
I'm seeing that in the comments
Yes,
too.
but I love what she put a while ago, that judges should have a class. And I think that's an incredible
Like
idea.
juniors. Mm-hmm.
So,
Like do it like they do with juniors.
yeah, so they're not punished for being a judge because that's a respect. Like, that registry sees them as they respect them. They respect their credentials. They respect how they showing, things like that. They respect them enough to judge another show. So they shouldn't be punished to not show. So there is a great alternative to it, and that is a judge class.
Mhm.
And I would, if I heard that the judge class was coming up,
I'm
I
gonna
would
watch
huddle
that.
around. I would get show ring and be like, this is like, you know, if you go to shows, that's really when grand champions and things like that, because a lot of them are judges, professional handlers, things like that. It is the best of the best, not only dogs, but handlers. So that would be cool to have a judge class. That would be, because, you know, Tim Sinclair, I tagged him. And Stephanie, I know you're watching. I hope Tim is too. And I'm going to give him a shout out because we're talking about judges that give people information on what to get better at. Tim is a open encyclopedia, and he gives it to the people showing. He gives it to the people watching. He will get
truly a mentor
and tell people things that are taking place. But I think it's also the community. You need to go up there and ask why. If you don't ask why, you are sitting there. So now your brain's just thinking, and you're going off of assumptions. And you're sitting there thinking, oh, this is, you didn't even give them a chance.
Right.
When lost, I asked.
Yes, and that's when you get knowledge to take back. And if it's absurd, you're like, come on. But a lot of it's like some things that you wouldn't really even think of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real, like, man, every registry we've shown at, we've gotten feedback where it's like, all right, that makes sense. You know, it might, the cruel, constructive criticism, it might sting at first, but when you step back and really evaluate it and don't let your emotions, like, no, man, you're like, all right, I see what he's saying. Like, be open to constructive criticism and to fix what might be there that you don't see.
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, and kennel blindness can play obviously a factor in your ability to do this. But I mean, I could easily tell you every single one of my dog's flaws, and maybe even miss a couple by accident. But it's one of those things where I'm more than happy to talk about it because it's an important thing. And eventually, when I look to stud out my males, I'm going to be forthcoming, and because if we're really out here to better the breed, if, my dog has traits that isn't going to, mesh well with, their female, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm be like, listen, my guy's a little tall, female's tall. If you're wanting something to be, smaller, more compact, this ain't the path, It's just, you got to be honest about it. But, and if you can't pick out the flaws in your own dog, then you need to talk to people and especially the, experts in this field, which is obviously, judges and other tenured breeders and whatnot, and find out, ask them, but be ready for the answers. Because, again, no dog's perfect. They'll all tell you that. And there's not one perfect dog. All of them have a flaw to a degree or a multitude of them. But you've got to be willing to hear it.
And
That's
another
right.
thing is, like at the jungle this passing weekend, I asked why I didn't win first place. And he told me exactly what I knew. He's like, you need to add weight to her. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what I thought it was. And if I didn't ask, I wouldn't have known except for my own judgment.
Right.
And it's just.
Oh, so weight is a factor too?
Weight is a factor. Like, bro,
Weight?
Loretta's the most
And-
pickiest ass dog I have, bro. Like, she was right at 95 pounds at the jungle. And what's it called? She's up to 100 now. I'm not gonna explain the reason how I got her weight back up, but freaking yeah, man, it was just literally like it was because she was freaking skinny because she's a bougie ass girl. That's bro. I put 3 beef ribs and a pound of ground beef in her food, bro. And I have a video of this.
Still,
She just smelt it, went back to sleep, bro. Like. And I figured out a way to get more weight on her, healthy weight. But it's just like, yes, weight does play a factor because if the dog is more leaner, like a pit bull style dog, it's not.
absolutely.
If you
That's
add the weight to it, then it complements it because the dog, it's more fulled out, it's more filled. You know what I mean?
Jonte
it has a more mature
Brown
look
got
to
the
it because they're leaning
raw.
up in the
He put in the comments, Jonte Brown's got the raw. If you
yes.
need the weight, go to Jonte.
I'm telling you, there's something to be said about that. I know that. So Adonis, one of the things, and this is up until probably about almost a year ago. Most of the feedback that I got was Adonis needs more mass. They didn't say weight. They're like, he needs more mass. One lady did say put more weight on him, and I can't remember I don't know if that was Cindy or not, but so got the weight vest, changed his diet, and whatnot. And he started putting on some weight. So that's why he looks the way he does now. But one of his siblings actually eats raw, and it's like they're structured the same. And it's pretty intense to see that difference. Like you could definitely tell that one dog is bigger than the other.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so definitely something to be said about that, Mr. Brown.
So just to clarify, you're saying that his litter mate has quite a bit more mass, and you think it's due to raw, like he's on a raw
They're
diet?
structured. Yes, they are structured. They are structured the same. Literally, they have the same framework. They both take after, they have their father's body with their mother's face. But the thing is they're structured so similarly that for a great deal of time, they literally looked the same. They were shaped the same, looked the same. They were growing at the same rate. And then the other dog got on raw and
Passed him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, after the live, put them in the comments. I want to see, kind of the difference, and that'd be, man, that's great. That's educational, and that's great advertisement for Jonte.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, and there is a difference. We've seen it in the whelping. So yeah, shout out. Hey, I'm not going to respond to any more comments because every time I do, I get booted off here. So please know that I see the comments.
I told you.
Yes, but yeah,
It's all
Jonte
your
Brown.
fault.
Man,
Keep trying to add Jonathan back, and it's not letting me.
but with the whelpings, like the puppies, like, man, our dogs that we're heavy with raw on, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It does make a difference.
I would have any of y'all read, like, I'm sure there's some judge handbook, and I know it's goes all back to the standard of the dog, but kind of what's more important, kind of like on a point system type basis for judges. Like, I wonder what judges know and what their strict, pretty much the Bible for judges is. Like, I would like to really see kind of what because it breed type and then also how the dog's shown. So what's more important there? You know what I mean? Like, is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Like, how do they break it down? Because breed type, obviously, when you go in there, like if the breed type is excessively better than the next dog, that dog better show up. That dog better show up and show out, and the handler better be on point, and that dog better gate perfect. And so what is the strict measurement or the fine measurement on what's what?
I do
I would like,
60-40.
but that's assumption, and that's our personal. I wonder what it is actually. Is there something, or
It's all
what's
about the
most important?
standard.
Seriously.
It's all about the standard and what the judge was trained whenever he was in his apprenticeship.
So I agree with that. So how's the training? So what's most important?
Man, I hate freaking saying this, but freaking what's it called? It's all about the training. Like there's like whenever I was training with the other registry I was a part of, what's it called? It was mainly about freaking stacking and the gating, but it was also based upon the confirmation of the dog itself upon the written standard of that registry. Me, I go by 60% stack and the confirmation of what the dog's being presented as, and 40% on my gate. So if you get a great stack and you have a horrible gate, but this dog has a semi-good stack, meaning like it's not perfect, but it's well represented, and that gate's better, that's the best overall rounded dog because it's able to perform and stack.
Yeah, and
just
John.
for
Sorry. Go ahead.
What's it called? For the people that are asking what I'm using to get her weight back up, I'll just give you the sauce, man. I don't give a damn. People can judge me for what I want to. I feed ProPlan, and I mixed it in with yellow bag pedigree because the fillers, it gives her a little bit more weight. But honestly, I give her half a cup of whole cow's milk, real cow's milk, every other day. And I started like 3 days before the jungle, and she's already gained 5 pounds.
Wow.
That's what I do. That's my formula. You can use goat's milk too. If you do goat's milk, do it 2/3 goat's milk to 1/3 of filtered water. It works.
1/3 what? You cut out on my end.
2/3 goat's milk or whole milk and a 1/3 filtered water. So it's not too intense. I mean, it works. Freaking, I've talked to some other breeders. They do the same thing, but that's what I'm working with right now, and it's working. So that's the sauce for everybody for their pasta.
Heck yeah. The Alfredo. Yeah, but hey, I like what John Tay put. And, Amanda, you put it too. And like I said, I would love to comment, but I got to refrain myself. So John Tay, I agree with you. So I would put comment 100. Hey, flex. But yeah, I agree with that, and that's cool that AKC has a point system. Like a judge in UFC. Usually the winner gets 10, loser gets 9 or 8, depending on how severe the difference is. So if the breed type, like, do they put a system like that? Like, all right, so this dog 10, 9, and I'm not talking about actually writing it down, but I'm talking about mentally, kind of like, all right, so this one on this one, or there's 10 things they're looking at, and whichever one wins the majority of them wins the show. Like, does that make sense to y'all? Like, I like that AKC does that. What he said is head, ears placement. Everything has a point system. So that's neat. So when you go up there and actually ask the judge, like, hey, and if they're detailed like that and say, well, you lost in the head, the feet were not as clean, the rear. So then you're like, all right.
That's what I do. That my grandma's a UKC judge and competitor as well, and she taught me that point system whenever I first got started.
Yeah. So is that how UKC is?
I've never been to a UKC show. This was just my grandma like giving me advice about judging itself. So she's all like, do like 1 to 10 on head, ears, cheeks, top line, paws, the
Jonathan,
tuck, the hocks, everything.
Your grandma's a UKC judge?
She is, but she's retired. She just travels the country with my mom sometimes and goes to shows. She competes in the tracking part.
So we've been talking about judging for 40 minutes, and you have not one time said that your grandma is a
Hey, he done told us that before. Caleb, he done told us that before.
Has he? Well, shoot,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, he
awesome.
told us that about two or three times.
That's awesome
Yeah.
that you
That's awfully convenient.
Yeah,
have.
they're not really too big into the bullies, but all she says is like the bully community needs to work on their confirmation.
There we go.
That's all she
That's fair.
really said, and she's just like, look, once y'all become established, because every dog was, established at one point, freaking, it's just like you have to breed towards a standard, and if you don't, it's just gonna be a mix up of clusterfuckery.
Yep.
I like
You're
that.
right. And if the community doesn't start breeding more towards the standard, then we're setting the registries up for failure and the judges up for failure, like we've talked about. When it's they're picking the best of the worst, they got to pick one. Or if they start withholding ribbons all the time, which I know a lot of people in the comments said that, people are going to
They
stop
do.
registries, and it's a business too. So I'm saying that's right, but I'm saying they've got to kind of fair to keep people coming, because if not, the registry is not going to be there. The judges can't get paid. So I'm just saying both sides and playing devil's advocate, because we have got to do better to help the judges judge a better dog.
And I'll be honest with you, I
Gotta get to the
had a
specimen.
ribbon withheld from me. Cindy from ABKC, like I'm really good friends with her. She withheld a ribbon from Loretta on the December 31st of last year because Loretta was sleeping, and her back leg was asleep, and it looked like she had a limp. But the thing of it is people were telling me they were like,
Froze up, ain't it?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Jonathan.
Can't hear you, Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Man.
Hey, Cindy withheld. Man, she is withheld from us, and I've seen her withhold. And and I respect her, and I respect that she's so open about her judgment and things like that, which is
Absolutely.
great. And the reason
I
withholding,
prefer that.
we saw, and I won't say a name, we saw her actually tell someone like, hey, your dog is not of standard, and you're pretty much, your money is
y'all hear
not
me now?
being utilized correctly with this registry. Like, you
Yeah.
need to, and made it where everything was actually refunded, and that's not, policy.
Right.
So I'm hopefully anything too much, but yes, but that was fair, and she was open, like, hey,
Mhm.
but I like that. And Jonathan, I'm sorry, I was talking about Cindy, because Cindy withheld from us, and I saw she withheld from someone else before too, and I respect that. Like, and she's educated and gives very, very good advice and reasoning behind the withholder of placement.
Yep.
I really like Sydney. She's like one of those boss judges, in my opinion. She's not afraid to tell you like it is.
She'll get that mic so quick.
Yep.
Yes. But Jonathan, what were you saying before you got a?
I'm just basically saying I got with a ribbon withheld from Loretta on the 31st. She would have swept that show in the XL female and overall class, but because she was sleeping and her leg was like, asleep. You know how it gets whenever your leg falls asleep. You're like, oh
Pins
shit,
and needles.
this, that, and the other. But it was because she was leaning on it too hard, and freaking her gait
Yeah.
didn't look right. But even though she was the best dog out of the dogs in the ring, she withheld the first place ribbon. Loretta got second, and the other dog got
Yeah.
third because of
Yeah.
that issue. And I can't fault her for it. Like,
No. But I
Yeah.
bet you're walking her periodically throughout shows now just to keep her from falling,
I mean, not
legs from
even
falling
that.
asleep.
Get him, man.
Me and
Get
Cindy
him. Get him.
have a great relationship.
That's the homework. It's like, okay, so don't let my dogs, lay too long.
Yeah.
I get my dogs out every half hour, just to
Yeah.
walk, even if it's just to walk them around
Yeah.
the outside of the ring
But
once, and just put them
see,
back.
but then look at it too. So, people say that we need to withhold them, and I agree with that. But what about, devil's advocate again? What about if you won your age bracket for your class, and you're waiting for that to go up for a major, and there's a withholder of ribbon on that? So now you're like, well, dang, I don't have competition for it. So it's just a ripple effect off of withholding or not withholding. And there should be more withholders, but again, we need to bring better stock so there's not withholders.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we don't give them a reason to withhold, that would be ideal. But that's just not the situation that we found ourselves in right now. The breed's not there right now.
Not consistent. Not consistent.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is after, again, talking to several judges, after that, after this weekend show in Longview. It's just like I've spoken, to several judges, and I mean, they've all basically kind of expressed the same like sentiment, which is the breed is lacking now. Like you're seeing more dogs that lack breed type in the ring than they have in a long time. And so they end up having to pick the dogs in the ring that do have breed type that have more flaws than the ones that don't. So,
And all these people that have something to say about, I'm sorry, all these people have something to say about dogs winning this, that, and the other. If you think your dog's better, why weren't you there?
I agree with you.
Why weren't you competing?
A lot of this.
Stop all this internet, blah, blah, blah. Just like when Loretta got her champion title, I had a bunch of people saying this, that, and the other. I was like, well, if you feel that way, why weren't you there?
Definitely.
I can't be omnipresent. I haven't mastered omnipresence. That's why I couldn't be there.
Yeah. Hey, so Candy asked a question. She said, so where's the means to an end when you can't make people breed correctly?
That's going to be their downfall.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, well, yeah, and there's no one size fits all answer to that. I mean, because there are just so many moving parts to it. There are so many people that wield influence, that have the authority and versus don't. It's just one of those things where, because humans are the ones driving the freaking car, it's not always going to go on the.
That's all of our downfall.
Yes.
When ignorance overpowers what needs to get done, it's a downfall.
Seriously.
Because you have people that think they know what the dog should look like, or you can establish your own bloodline, but it's got to be bully, and at least in the American bully industry.
Yeah. And again, all the judges that I've spoken with will say the same thing over and over and over again. It's breed type. That's the bare minimum. That's where it starts. If your dog doesn't even have it, it's not even in the consideration. It's not even on the table anymore. So, I mean, if that's what it takes, at least start there. Certain flaws can be bred out, but breed type's one of those things that could take generations to develop. So that's where they're viewing that, as far as that mindset's concerned. So,
yeah, Adam, I agree with that. He said, if dogs.
There's that train.
But Adam, I agree with that to a certain degree. Challenge to the point of really challenging, asking the judge and things like that. Absolutely, completely, absolutely. And these people that always watching the lives, not this live, please, I'm not saying something about the people that are viewing in, but I'm saying like dog lives or see pictures of shows. This is the image that's portrayed in their head because they're not actually going out to shows and actually seeing these dogs in person. That might be a bad picture of the dog and things like that. So you can't sit there and say, because we hear it all the time, oh, if my dog went to the show on Saturday, he'd be a champion. I didn't go to the show on Saturday.
Then why'd you
go?
Yeah.
Chris.
Why weren't you?
I mean,
so until you bring dogs that are consistent by the standard, we have got to do that in the judging. Yeah, then we can hold them to a finer tune, but the breed stock has to be there, or the show stock has to be there. So it is a fine line, Candy. There's a standard. There's a standard of dogs, and so many breedings that are taking place are not of standard. So when we bring in 6 dogs that are not of standard per quota, and telling a judge to judge them, yeah, mistakes can take place, or not even a mistake. something they see that we don't, that's more important to judge it that way.
Yeah.
So everyone's got to be held accountable. You can't sit here and point at the judges all day. We got to point at ourselves and say, hey, what are we doing to better it?
Mhm.
Because we see banners every day that it's like, that is
Well,
so far away from the standard. And those
it seems counterproductive.
was saying that they have a champion on their yard, but never been to, and then we'll go on and sit there and say, oh, what's the title? What's the title mean? I want to sell puppies. Like, I want to know, I want my stud to be hot, which means selling puppies.
Yeah.
Champion is saying that this is per standard. Like, this dog should be looked at as the standard of this breed, especially this class. Grand champion, look how hard it is for XLs. I know it's for XL people. What, there's 12 XL grand champions ever. Why is that? Because a lot of people that breed XLs do not breed to the standard. So it's so tough because now we're having to go to standards for the standard to clean up our dogs. So a lot of our dogs, if we keep doing that to clean them up, go to standard heights, and it's hard to get that back because there's not a lot of stock XLs that you can breed back to get back that XL height.
Yeah. And then when you go back to standard from an XL, you know, you're going to end up with a scattered litter as far as like, you're going to have some that may reach XL height at maturity and then others that don't. And at that point, you're just like, well, they all carry the same genetics kind of. So I'm going to, it's going to be a gamble one way or another. You're going to be taking risks of, are you really selling XLs? Are these people that are getting puppies from you under the guise of like, these are supposed to be XLs? Like that's the, the motive, that's the goal. And then their dog never reaches height. So now they have a standard dog that they weren't planning on having. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
And the thing of it is like, I'm just going to interrupt just because I know like these dogs like are XLs and they look like pockets. If you're looking to get, a more bullier dog, at least in my opinion, if you have like a reindeer or, you're lacking mass or cheeks or freaking headpiece, I'm just going to give a shout out to both these breeders. Shout out to Josh Stanley and Moses Ortega. UEK Tharos is basically a pocket on an XL frame. Same that it is with Stud Muffin. But you got to make sure your bloods in that are going to click how they're supposed to, because if not, you may not get what you want.
Well, and I know that one of the dogs that I remember I didn't even know that this dog was an XL until I saw him next to a standard. And that's Tristan's Champion Legend.
Yes.
I remember seeing pictures of him and just being real impressed, but thinking he was a standard, right? Until I saw a picture of him stacked next to Grand Champion Zero. And it's the same effing dog. It's just, Legend's taller, just a little taller. They look the same. They're identical. So it's just one of those things, same structure, same head, same. Everything was the same except for Legend was just a smidge taller. And that is, when you look at the breed standard, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It literally states that. It's like, good, it's the standard but taller.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much more simple than that. It doesn't get, like, you can't really kind of pick apart and be like, well, it might imply this. It's literally, it's the standard but taller. So I'm sorry to say it, but that's probably the best example, the closest example of that actually being a reality that I've ever seen, period.
Yeah.
Even Dave Wilson, when he got on this live a couple months ago, he said that. He's like, if you could get a standard dog on an XL frame, there would be no competition.
Yeah, exactly. That would be it. Like you'd have the full Monty, you'd have the breed type, you'd have everything. So, I mean, that would obviously be the goal. And again, unfortunately, that is probably most likely going to take breeding between classes, taking XLs to standards and, to and from, but I mean, something's got to give, we've got to be willing to do what it takes. I mean, I know my dog is tall and, I know that I'm going to have to take him to a shorter compact female to get what I want eventually. So I'm always on the lookout for that, but I'm definitely not breeding him to a dog that looks like him, because that's not what I want. That's not what that's not what I want to take in the ring. That's not what my contribution to this community is going to be. Hell no.
Yes, I love that, and you see that, and that's your foundation. And Jonathan, going back to your grandma UKC and talking about UKC, people always say that UKC likes a more terrierish dog, and that's why American bullies have a hard time in there. They like a more structured
Yeah.
dog.
Functional.
That's yes, but we're wanting to add all this mass and things like that. There needs to be structure and added onto that what you're lacking. And like you're talking about, you see what your dog lacks. Everyone needs to know what their dogs lack. And when you go to shows, you see what the breed type is, what's, champions, grand champions, things like that. Look at them and look at your dog. What do I need to add? This is the standard. This is the standard. What do I need to add? If my dog is short and big and I want an XL, like, if I want different things, like you were saying that, your dog is taller. That's why you're going shorter. You compact, things like that. You see that. You're not kennel blind and you take constructive criticism. We've all got to be open to that. We've all got to ask the questions and we all got to be accountable to what we're actually breeding and not be kennel blind. Don't sit there and argue something when, like, your dog's not that. Like, you just add that. Be open to constructive criticism and see it from their point of view just for a second, and it will make sense, hopefully.
Yeah.
And go to.
I've never ever thought that you could use vision and blindness within the same issue, but literally people's vision and people's kennel blindness are killing the breed.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Yeah. And
also another thing.
Oh, go ahead, John.
When you go to shows, don't be like I was when I first started and get all pissed off and fucking this, that, and the other. It's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
The thing that's gonna happen is blood pressure.
I used to be the loudest motherfucker in the ABKC shows, and Christina Tubbs is my witness, and I'm sorry about when I came out when I first started, but I was that motherfucker that thought my vision was perfect, and I was kennel blind.
Yeah.
I can admit my mistakes. I'm a grown ass man. But freaking, it's just, you have to educate yourself before you can voice your opinion, and don't fucking go crazy and this, that, and the other like I did. Like, just take it with a grain of salt, work on it, come back again. That's all I can say about
it. Absolutely. I completely agree. And don't, like, every breeder has a vision. If your vision is a dog that's outside the standard, and I'm not saying, I'm not necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with that because that's the vision, but don't bring it to the show world and think that's
gonna
because that's might be your vision, and I respect that. I'm not taking care of your dogs, and that's the vision that you see. But when you come to a show, your vision might not align with the standard. And
that's why you have to have the vision and the standard together.
That's what I'm saying. Your vision needs to be the breed standard at minimum. At minimum.
I agree. I agree.
Or maybe this isn't your bag.
So you saying even if you don't show?
Me personally, in my personal opinion, absolutely. I don't care what you bring in the show ring, like in contrast to what you keep at home. The goal needs to be to breed standard dogs. Like, even if you have tools at home that aren't necessarily up to par at that point, they're a breeding tool that you're using, as long as the goal is to get to that point, then you're right. Then
when you
I was just trying to bring that out. Just trying to bring that out for the audience.
For the
you knew what I was going to say, Bruce. You know how that's how I feel. Look at you, just kind of feeding me the water. You're like, drink, lady, drink.
For the audience and everyone in here is like, for one, it's so simple. That's why I'm going to explain this. When you go on Google and you look up American Bully, a picture comes up, right? You're supposed to breed towards what the breed is supposed to be. Yes, you're not going to have it perfect all the time. You're going to have those extreme features, but you have to breed towards what the actual breed is calling for, what the breed is supposed to look like. That's my opinion. You can have the extreme looking dogs, the bigger dogs, or the extreme fronts and all that stuff, but freaking don't go out and start breeding exotic XLs, if you know what I mean.
Messy. Oh. But yeah, hey, and Bruce, I like the question you asked Amanda, and Amanda, I like your response. So the standard is what, 23 inches XL, and that's, you know, it's down pointed if it's over that. It's not disqualified. So that's what I'm saying. If that's what people want to breed, a 24, 25-inch dog, hey, that's cool. But just don't, I don't even know, some of them get into the back and forth about the dogs that are happening at shows, and it's like, first of all, you're not breeding towards that, and you're not even attending. Why are you even, like, it's almost just adding, you know, it's creating more chaos. Like it's more chaos right now than it should be, because more people are engaging in it. And I know, contradicting ourselves because we're talking about it, but we're talking about it in a format that has been to shows and, you know, respectful to both sides. Like, we're not bashing the registry or anything like that. But yeah, breeding tools are great. And, you know, if you're looking for that XL and you're breeding a standard and your standard's getting a little too short to bring a 24, 25-inch dog to get that XL height of the vision, but it aligns with the standard like you were talking about. I think it should be very close to the standard, if not going for the standard. But if you're outside the standard, I think you should really keep your opinion not as vocal as some people have necessarily been. You know?
Keep it within the standard. If you're like not a show person, at least 70 to 80% of what the standard's supposed to be, and you can add your flavor to it. But just know that you're never going to be able to go into the showroom because that's not what you're breeding towards.
Yes. Yeah. Merles cannot show an ABKC unless they're Jonathan, but Jonathan messed that up, so he told on himself. So now people can't go either.
But literally, you wouldn't be able to see her spots unless, like, I showed you, like, where they were, and, like, you would have to take a magnifying glass to see them.
Jonathan literally spray painted or put, like, makeup on these spots and is like, I'm going to see if I can get away with this. And
nope.
Sneaky, sir.
I'm watching you, Jonathan.
I'm honest.
I think I saw Loretta.
That is fair. When there's like, is this some Merle? You're like, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know unless I told you. That's what I told him.
I'm just messing with you, man. No, that's
all.
Yes, but no.
Feel that? Eat the bubble gum? Yep. But you didn't see me, did you?
Adam put, have you noticed different registries at the withers differently?
Bless you.
Yes.
Was that a cough?
Yes.
Well, I think I've seen a lot of people measure differently at the withers, and I think there needs to be like a YouTube or something to actually show where the withers start, because some people try to put it like on the, you know, the top to try to get the XL height where the muscles. That's nice.
That's not Did they pay attention in juniors? Did they go to juniors? Like, they tell you where the withers are in juniors.
But
yeah.
I do believe that, but different registries have different standards for XL. I think one's 23, one's 24. If I am correct on, you know, on the.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But
SBR does not have a height cap.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I know that at least one or two of the registries, they don't have a cap on the on necessarily the height for the XL.
It just has to be fully proportioned for the dog's height.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, basically breed type. It has to have balance and breed type.
Yeah, but hey, I would love for Tim, and I know I'm always pointing him out, but I just really respect him as a judge, or Anthony Gray or something like that.
Yeah.
Come on, you know, so we can actually see the judges' standpoints and see kind of what they're viewing and kind of what the point system is, or maybe how they calculate their winners, just personal, you know? Like,
well,
I think that'd be cool, because there's a different. We all love football. I love to watch football, and if my team fumbles the ball and the knee is like half an inch above the field, I'm like, he was down. He was down. It was not. But the judge sees it different. It's for like, you know, the whole arena's, you know, the whole stadium's booing the judge. But if it's the other way around, you would be yelling at the judge. So I would love to hear and see a judge's point of view on what's different, how we can better educate our to see what they're seeing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to know what they want to see more of, what they want to see a lot less of. Like, I mean, I can sit there and I can ask them on the individual basis all I want, and so far the consensus is pretty clear But at the same time, I think it would be good to have that on here. I mean, because again, that's the reason we were doing this. Like, we do this live for people for that reason. Like, we're trying to reach one, teach one. We're trying to educate everybody that's watching in things that they might not be familiar with, or, giving them access to people that they wouldn't normally either
Yeah.
speak to or listen to in any other arena. Like, we give them access to these people with all their knowledge, and that's why we do this. So I would love to have a judge on here. Absolutely.
Exactly. That was very well said, because that's exactly why. And to bring someone on whether it's one person that's never been to a show, like, okay, that's what I expect now when I go to shows, and it should be that we do this and bring education on here. Like, bringing the judge on here would be great.
I'm right,
So
right here.
here he is. Jonathan,
I'm right here.
tell your grandma, send me your grandma's number. We're getting her on here. And
You can
I
talk.
don't know if
She
you're
can
going to
talk
want to
fast
hear
as we do.
from a UKC AKC judge. I don't think you're going to want to hear what they have to say about our breed, buddy.
You ain't gonna want
I'm
to. You ain't
They're
sorry.
gonna want to
very
hear it.
what
straight to the point.
You don't want none of that. Like, there's
if it was just judging period, though? Like, hey, so what are you looking at? What's like a fully functional dog in a judge's eye
Well,
is
you could
different.
say that. You could say
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
They totally different.
but yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Jonathan, you said it a while ago, until our breed becomes consistent, but until we breed consistently, our breed's not going to be a consistent dog that can
Never
go into
happened.
AC. And
Yeah, we're never going to see Westminster be like doing things the way that we're doing. We're just never going to see it. We're not going to see us on national television. We're never going to see our breed. It's just, we're not there yet. But again, though, and this also is right out of the mouths of the people I've talked to over the last several days, is our breed is still young. It's, it's 20-year-old breed. I mean, it's still got a lot of motion and a lot of ground to cover before it gets a consistency. But at the same time, we're not exactly heading in the direction at present. So,
I agree with Dave Wilson said that when he came on here.
Yep.
It's 75, 80 years to actually, and a lot of these dogs, that's how long they've, if not longer. You look at it and you see this, let's say German Shepherd. See a German Shepherd on, on TV, AKC events, Westminster, anything like that, and you're like, all right, so we're used to seeing American Bullies, so it's kind of different to see a dog, but we can kind of see, kind of what they're based on. But yes, that is a dog that you see in the ring, and pretty much all of the dogs look pretty consistent with it. And the consistency is there because they've been a breed so long, and the breeders of that breed stay within that breed.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fun to watch them, like, and that's another thing that I've always kind of really enjoyed about all breed registries, is like UKC, for example. Watching some of these dogs in the ring, the only reason you can tell them apart is their handler, or the fact that one of them's an inch taller than the other, but you might not be able to tell. Or with some breeds where they have, different, color patterns and things like that, you tell them difference that way. But otherwise, there's a lot of breeds where the color pattern is supposed to be the same, essentially. And, tan points, things like that. And it's like, it's really hard to tell those dogs apart. So you kind of have to base it on the freaking handler at that juncture. And so it's just like, when you look at scenarios like that, that's an accolade. That's pretty damn cool. Like, I kind of want to be there.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And that's why it's tough competition. And it's like, man, it's such an honor. Like, a lot of them got to be down to go to a lot of these shows.
Sorry, my
like,
phone
it's
died.
a very prominent type thing. You got to have the right dog to show, and you got to be of class of handler. And John Tay, I hope he's still watching. Like, he's big in AKC, and shout out to John Tay Brown, and he'll come over all the time. Like, he'll say the difference in the registries and things like that. And and it's neat. It's neat to hear the registry that's been formed for so long on how different it is and things like that. And I know you've gone to a lot of UKC events, and I would love to. I would love to see the difference and just see the judging dogs because, again, our eyes when it comes to things like that, we're bullies. We like the bully dog. It's literally the name of the dog.
Mhm.
But that might not be the most functional dog or things like that. So to a UK judge, like that dog is a train wreck. And we're like, I just locked him in as a stud. What do you mean he's a train wreck? Like they see things different, you know? So it's just again, we want to learn every about the judges and really just figure out what's your breed for and should be the standard. And if it's not the standard, you need to kind of reevaluate your program.
Don't
Oh yeah.
breed exotic
Oh yeah.
XLs.
Hey, this is he loves the stuff.
What's say about excels, Jonathan?
Don't breed exotic XLs.
Yeah, stop it. La, 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 la.
Oh shoot.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. It's like a Volvo with a gun rack. It just doesn't make any
Oh
freaking sense.
man.
Yes. But yeah, going back to the first that we were talking about, the picture of this dog that kind of surfaced, man, really just need more pictures of the dog before we just kind of jump on there. And, the media portrays the image that we figure a lot. So I would like to see more. I would like to see why and things like that. And then, hey, maybe it makes more sense. Amanda, like you were talking about with, more pictures that you saw. Because
Oh yeah.
we've had someone literally take a video of Genesis in the ring and try to make it where it didn't look as well as probably did because of trying to keep this very well worded. But
There's some flattering pictures of Adonis out there for sure, and of Helios. I mean, there definitely are.
there were some evil intentions on it. But yes, don't let the media portray it. Go look to see more of that dog before we're just like, oh man, this judge made such a bad call. Like, no, this person tried to make it seem more than what it really was.
So I feel that I'm pretty blessed in this regard. The moment I posted that picture and I was like, oh, this dog looks like it's in pain. I don't know if this is, oh, that can't be it. Like, oh my God, I think this dog won if I'm not mistaken or whatever. Like literally within minutes, I had people that I know sending me other pictures. It's not that I didn't even have to go looking for them. I still did. But I had people sending me these pictures and saying, hey, here's some other pictures of the dog. Now you're 100% right on some of the factors of, the issues that this dog has. But look at these. Just take a look at these and then do with it what you will. And of course, it's just, I
Do with what you want to.
yeah, right. It's the gift. Here you go. And of course, I was just like, I'm grateful that I have people that are willing to do that because, again, if we need to be held accountable. So obviously, if I've either said something or I've put forth information that's not 100% accurate, I want you to tell me. Don't keep that crap to yourself. I don't. That doesn't do anybody any good. Yeah. So obviously, then people sending me other pictures from other angles and other lighting and everything like that from this exact same dog throughout the day was good. So that way I can kind of step back and be like, okay, well, it's not as bad. Obviously it's still bad, but it's not as bad. And, obviously at this point now we need to start the conversation of trying to figure out how to stop that pattern from happening. Because it is a pattern. To me, it's a pattern. And to several people out there, it's a pattern because this is not the only instance where we're seeing dogs that have some flaws that we consider kind of unforgivable or difficult to breed out, winning in the ring.
Yeah.
So, but we got to have the uncomfortable conversations, but the thing is we also, I think it's good that we have them in like basically we're trying to better the breed together.
Yeah.
Like you're taking other people's perspectives into account and you're learning from other people's experiences, but you're also not dismissing things that shouldn't be dismissed. Like our concerns should never be dismissed. Like just because we're not judges, oh, you don't know what we do. Like I don't know how you do what you do, but I know what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm questioning this because here are my concerns. Here's why. And so those shouldn't be dismissed, just like we should never dismiss how difficult it is that what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
You
all
can
the
make
other
up a
things that
lot
go
of
into
enemies
what
being
they
a
do.
judge.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, the blood, sweat, tears, the time, the wins, the losses, like it takes a great deal to become a judge. So obviously there is like, I definitely respect that. But again, we're also, I know that they're human, and when literally several of them say we're picking the best of the worst, it's sort of like, okay, that's obviously a bad scenario
Yeah.
all around for us and for them. So, so yeah, it's just as long as literally these conversations are built around us trying to find a path together to a mutual goal, then that's the conversations we need to be having. But they have to be had. They absolutely have to be had.
I agree. Accountability's got to be both ways. If they judging our dogs and holding us accountable, the other way too. But I wonder, like, have people given, and I don't know, like, I'm just putting this out there just for for debate. But has this judge been asked, kind of what took place or why or anything like that? Then this guy, like, this poor guy, like, yes, should the judge say something about the dog that's in question and kind of tell him why? Absolutely. And but this guy's picture's going all over the place, and he's like, I'm never going to a show again, and I hope that's not the case. But imagine that. No, imagine
Well,
that. Like,
depending on the dog, maybe they shouldn't. But at the same time, I don't want them to discourage them from using that dog, possibly if it doesn't have as many flaws as obviously the picture, that specific picture.
accountability should be still taken, and constructive criticism should be given, but not publicly bash in a format that was because everyone.
I agree. I agree.
And the thing of it is, I'm sorry, Caleb. That judge that people are trying to bash, that motherfucker's very, very, very educated. That judge knows what he's talking about. And like everyone's on here been saying, no one's perfect. But the thing of it is, it goes back to the picture. Oh, anyone can take a picture of a bad angle of a dog. But also, I've seen the pictures where this dog was fully stacked and everything else. And you're like, damn, that's a damn good looking dog. But everyone fuels off of negativity. It's the working of the devil, in my opinion. If everyone would focus on trying to help each other and be doing a positive thing, which is the whole reason I do the Cashing Out Bully Throwdown, is to create a positive platform for the XLs and everyone else, is you stop focusing on the freaking negative, you're going to start seeing a lot of more positive results happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You feel bad if you feel some type of way about that freaking dog winning. Congratulations, man. You saw one picture of 1,000 that are available. Like, Loretta looks like she can have a high rear in some of her pictures. But me personally and everyone that I've competed with knows that she doesn't.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about what everyone else is freaking doing. Stay focused and stay in your lane. That's going to be the best thing you can do, is surround yourself with like 5 solid-ass people that can be a mentor for not just a year or a couple months, but for a lifetime. Have y'all ever heard of that Russian mafia dude that's on like the TikTok pages? And he's like, step 1, you do blah. Step 2, you do blah. Like this guy's like, it may be a TikTok video, but it's the freaking truth.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good people that are not afraid to tell you when you're fucking up, because Josh does it to me all the time. It's like, Jonathan, you're a fucking idiot. Stop acting like an asshole and you open up your fucking eyes, because kennel blindness is real. If you surround yourself with some solid people that want to see you do good, that are happy for your accomplishments and want to see you do better than them, and y'all gravitate together, all this negative bullshit is not even going to affect you anymore. You're just literally going to laugh at it, because it has nothing to do with what you're actually doing. Like, the judge knows what he's talking about, but someone got that one picture where that dog kind of looked messed up from an angle, and now it's a big old blown up all over social media. Oh, I'm a bad motherfucker because I'm going to make fun of the dog too. Well, for one, just like we said in this live, show me one solid, perfect, point blank period American Bully XL, or any dog for that reason. There's not one, because every dog has a flaw.
Oh, every dog.
Just like me, I got a receding hairline. I'm starting to go bald like Caleb. Like,
Hey,
fucking Italian beans are a motherfucker, dog. Them Sicilian beans are a motherfucker. Look at that shit. Hey, but I'll say this, bro. Batana oil is the best thing to do because it's minerals for your head. So I'm not going ball completely.
Yeah. Hey, but Juan in the comments, man, and I don't want to, just us talk like, just again for the people. Juan put, from personal experience, I've encountered ABKC judges who seem to have a chip on their shoulder when questioned on what she is seeing when I'm not. It's a simple question that shouldn't turn to said judge bashing my grand champion. I agree with that, and that's when it becomes a problem if they're not willing to explain their decision making. If you go into a ring, you're paying your money. First of all, you're paying them, a sanctioned judge, so you're paying them for their expertise to judge your dog fairly, and also to help before you get in that next sanction ring. Every time you should get better, more educated as a handler, as just a show goer. So that becomes a problem if they're not willing to educate and explain. That's when the challenge flag should come up. Like, hey, my challenge right now. If I'm going to you in willing to learn, willing to take that constructive criticism, and you're not willing to give it to me, why would I want to show under you again?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, there's that, and the fact that when these judges should also, if they really want better specimen in that ring, they should probably give us better advice. And that's the thing. It's like, so obviously you might have caught them on a bad day. They might have had a crap travel into the show. Like things might be awry. They're irritated. It's a hot venue, whatever the case may be. You might have caught them in a bad moment, or they might just really kind of just be like, no, next class. Show started late. You know what I mean? Like, so there's 1.5 million reasons probably why they would be dismissive of people, wanting input, but they still need to provide it, in my personal opinion. And, there are some judges that are really, really like not pushy with it, but very direct with it. Like, there's one, I want to say Chris Beard. He won't let you leave the ring until he's given you his input. He won't let you leave. Like, he's like, no irk. So here's why I chose what I chose. Like, he doesn't want you to leave without knowing those tidbits of information. And that's his way of basically giving us the education and the tools that we need to better the breed on our part to bring better dogs for him to judge.
Yeah. But also remember, every judge is different.
Yeah, John Tate said
every judge is different. And they deal with different stress anxieties different. Like, it could be like, he could have, I'm just going to throw in a stupid example. He stubbed his freaking toe. He got mad about it. Some people can brush it off. Some people are going to hold that pain. That was a small one. Say, for instance, like his wife or the lady's husband, that's a judge, called and found out that they were being cheated on, and they're not wanting the world to know their business. Like, there's in different stress situations, like some judges, they're like, oh, I am who I am. I don't got to explain shit to you. Some of them are like, they have that high confidence in themselves and they'll tell you what's up. But some judges like myself, I'll go up to you as I'm giving you the third place ribbon and like, this is why you lost. This is what you need to work on. Then I go to second, first. And that's just me. Everyone's different. Everyone deals with stress different. But the thing of it is, where it goes back to the platform of what the standard is and what the registry calls for, you have to carry yourself in a professional opinion to best represent that registry and your education of what said classes you are judging upon.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. I that to a certain degree, Jonathan, but if I'm giving someone money
to judge my dog.
If you're the host and giving them a lot of money up front to come there, whatever you're going through, you better leave it at the threshold. I'm paying you.
Yeah.
Because we're being asked to leave that bit at the threshold when we walk in the ring with our dog. So
going to take place. So I understand where you're coming from. I'm not discrediting it, but emotions are going to take effect. But for someone to discredit someone that's asking and wanting to learn more, that's an issue. They should at least say, whether it might not be as detailed because maybe they're dealing with something or something like that, but you better at least give me the information I'm asking for, because I am, we are consumers. Like, we're paying for the registry and, it is a business. So at least give me that.
Oh,
Let me know what's.
You know what? This is gonna throw you for a loop. I agree completely with y'all because I'm speaking from a show host, but also a consumer. But remember, what's the golden thing our parents always told us growing up? A closed mouth don't get fed.
Oh, or that.
A closed mouth don't get fed. Sometimes people don't care. They're just there to have a good time. Closed mouth. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said I was about to go way left with that. My dad told me some.
Me too, but that was one of them. At least I was told. Because a lot of these judges, they'll go in there and there's people that don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's been times when like he broke, like Adonis broke his gate, or he wouldn't stand still during the stack. He didn't let him check his teeth. Like, if I know why I didn't win, I'm gonna go ahead and walk out, get him back in his crate, and then decompress and get ready for the next show. If I know pretty damn good and well, I am gonna leave the ring without bothering the judge for homework.
But the thing but it goes back to the responsibility of the handler or whoever's in the ring, if it was me or whatever. Because I asked the guy at the jungle right off the bat as he hung me the second, hey, after you're done, let me know what I need to work on. And the thing of it is, if you don't ask, sometimes they won't give it to you because of various situations, like they're running behind, or some people don't really care.
Yeah.
But if you ask, then yeah, you're gonna get the answer. But if you don't, and they freaking start, being an asshole, then you can bring it to the show host's attention. But if anyone knows me at my show, I'm running around like a batshit out of hell, like trying to make sure everything's good. And sometimes it's just like, you would tell me that because people come up to show us all the time, like, man, how are you gonna let that dog win? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Did you ask the judge?
They think. I'm
over here putting out wildfires. Like, Fluffy Coco over here is freaking like dying because it's being thugged on.
Yeah.
Here, let me get it some alcohol and lemon juice. Oh, Jonathan, there's a fire over here. Such and such got in a dog fight. I'm like, well, we're all owners and know how to react with our dogs.
You're not omnipresent either.
What?
You're not omnipresent either. How crazy.
Me either.
But yes,
it just the thing of it is, if you want the answers, then ask. If someone's being a dick about it, go up to the rep for that show because they're the ones that are keeping track of all the records anyway. And if they start noticing enough complaints, they're not going to use that judge anymore. It's really that simple. Like, we're in a complex situation. Like, if that whole thing with the picture thing, if the people were at the show and they could provide proof and they saw that dog and they're going to start questioning that judge's credentials and they're going to send him back to being trained again. It's literally that simple.
Yeah. Hey, Adam said he put first, second actually. He said ask all the questions, but then he put had a judge looking at me all sideways, listening in to him give an explanation to a dog I'm interested in. I'm the guy personally where I'm live, like ringside, and hey, I'm outside the ring, but I'm listening to see what's in reason why. Because I want to know personally, and if I'm outside the ring, they can look at me sideways, they can look at me upside down, they can look at me left and right. I'm gonna stay right there because like I want to know, and then that makes me respect that judge more because they're willing to give that, and I'm listening. And but yeah, man, take it in and ask the question. Don't, or if you leave the ring without asking the question, how are you going to judge the judge? How are you going to judge the judge? Don't ask them questions. But yeah, it's accountability on both sides. Like, it's just, we need to govern each other. It needs to be, we got to bring better stock, and then we can hold the judges to a higher standard. But then the judges, they need to make sure that they pick the best dog instead of picking off of bias, which doesn't take place because human error does take place. But there's got to be accountability.
Accountability on both parts. I mean, it's just we both got to be open to hearing each other out. And so many people get so defensive, and I'm talking like there were a lot of judges that immediately put up the wall. They were just like, nope, can't ask us questions, can't doubt our, you don't know what we do, and immediately just shut it down. Like, that's it. We're going to start blocking people for being concerned, and like, essentially. basing it on being like, oh, you guys are just bullying. I'm like, no, please don't misconstrue what we're doing. We're showing concern. Now, granted, some people are bullying. Some people are coming from a place of concern. Like, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm kind of freaking out about it. How are we going to address this? Like, are you guys like, how do you guys go about this? What's the next step? But some of them didn't want to hear that. Like, legitimately, some of them immediately put up a wall. And that speaks, that says more about them than they probably want to. But at the same time, I get that they're immediately like, I'm not taking accountability for this because it wasn't my call. But sometimes you do the same thing that they do. And I'm willing to bet this is not the first time that even you as a judge have had someone look at you and be like, so, I mean, they all have made questionable calls, I'm sure, and they've all been called on it, I'm sure. And so obviously that should be something that they should sympathize with and just be like, okay, well, I may not be able to attest to like what this particular judge made their decision, based on, but what I can tell you as a judge is this.
Yeah.
Again, the conversation has to be had. So to put up walls immediately and be so incredibly defensive does absolutely nothing. It's counterproductive, period.
Can I ask y'all a question? I want y'all's each individual answer.
No questions.
What's about to be asked? Message me first. We'll filter it and then we'll.
You know me, I
question.
like surprises. I like surprises because I'm off the wall, and that's what people like about me.
Hey,
here,
I might cut off on y'all.
All right.
Cut off on y'all.
My dog is
Go ahead.
speaking out at stuff on the TV.
Here in a minute, but I want to let's hear this question quick, and then let's hear the question real quick.
Okay. So, what is y'all's individual answer? We'll start with Caleb.
All right.
For what do you think? What do you think is the most cost-effective way, meaning for everyone, to be able to better this breed that we have, and kind of go back to our roots a little bit?
The most
Cost-effective?
Most cost-effective, but most impactful to help bettering the community.
All right. So you're talking about bringing breed stock, like your program, like what's the most cost-effective way to fix any problem at hand? Is that?
No, like a group setting. Not necessarily shows, but shows is like a cousin to what the answer is.
All right, ask the question.
I'd say what we're doing right now, but
yeah, I think it needs to be real talk. Honestly, things need to be brought to the table where people can hold their own and actually have conversation, where people of seniority can talk to people entry-level base and meet and greet and things like that, where it's education instead of just sanction. I think that we, in more experienced breeders, need to mentor people and really show them. So cost-effective way, like, man, let's get together and let's look out for each other and let's hold each other accountable and be constructive. Like, but I hope that answers the question.
It did in your own way. It was a unique answer. Let's put it that way. It was very unique, and I like how it
was a unique question, because at first when you said cost-effective way to fix it, I was going to say, really quit going for the hot stud and find a foundation dog, no matter what the cost.
Research.
And a lot of times,
that's
the cost of the 10,000 stud or whatever the case is. But your vision, do homework before you jump in. That's cost-effective. Do homework and start with the right stock, so you're not going so far left. And then when you enter the ring, you're way gone, and now you got to start all the way back. Like, do homework before you jump into something, and start with the right stock. Don't go after the hottest stud. Go after really what you're looking for, and do the homework to lead up to that.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, what are you doing?
What?
I know what you're doing. What are you doing?
I'm looking at my monitor.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Hey, look.
Looking at my monitor.
I know what he's doing.
What are you talking about?
No, you're not.
But I want
my friend Cassandra.
I like That's the question. That was unique. That was very, very unique. And like I said, but I want to hear these other answers too.
Who wants it? Bruce or Amanda?
I'll let Amanda
Same
have it.
question, or are you going to give us a different question?
Same
No, it's the
Same
same
question?
Same
question.
question.
What is the most
Breed club.
cost-effective way to help better this community that we would have to go back to our roots and could possibly fix the issue?
I would say breed club.
Okay.
So a breed club would be able to host, training sessions. I know that the AKC, UKC, all of those little kennel clubs that they have that are part of it, but like the smaller individual clubs, they'll have, little events here and there where you can train your dogs and show without even being at the show. So that way your dog's a machine by the time you get there. They'll have training programs that you can go to train your sporting dogs how to, perform the work that they're, bred to do.
Tracking, jumping, gating,
Right.
confirmation.
Right.
Agility.
Breed clubs are also, they provide oversight.
Mm-hmm.
They hold people accountable. They hold breeders accountable. It's a little bit more of a construct. I would just say breed club.
Okay. Bruce.
I would say coaching. Coaching people the right way. Sometimes, man, if I see a program that's not up to par, all right, I might give them some of my input, or I might even help them in a couple of breedings or something like that. You know, it ain't all about money with me. You know what I'm saying? That's the glory of this thing. It ain't all about money to me. I like to see people, come up with a better stock of dogs. Just coaching people.
Yeah.
That's I have like bits and pieces of like all y'all's answers. That's like exactly what I'm about to say. But to just for Adams, a breed club under what registry? A breed club, they have them under UKC and AKC, but this could even be like something. It's just like a club that you're just a part of, like a group of friends. Like basically, it's a lot of people already have a support system. But someone that's going to hold you accountable. Like your club will be represented by the people that are a part of it. So if you're doing something wrong, they're going to kick you out the club. You're not going to be part of that club. It's something that's holding each other accountable, like LLCs and S corp. Yeah, you can have multiple LLCs of different businesses under an S corp. So all those businesses make up that one. All those LLCs make up the S corp, which is the team. So
yeah. What's up, Ed?
basically, my answer to my own question is simply this. And I've talked about this with a few old school cats and some new school cats. We need to have more like professional meet and greets, like actual like little events. It doesn't even have to be a show, just like a barbecue. Everyone put in on it, bring a plate or something like that, and have those good people there that like the show, and have like a little play ring mixed up, and just give out first places like a little trophy or a ribbon, and
Yep.
just be able to help those people grow, kind of like winding the wheel before you let it go and the clown pops out the box. Basically, that's you getting into the show ring. You're gravitating to a new level.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to jump and say that they're the best thing that's ever happened since sliced bread, but they're skipping steps that are critical to your growth of how the foundation you're going to have. And if you create a solid foundation of positivity, it will wean out the negative, and it'll be more focused on the dogs about what we can all improve on through different people's views from different classes of dogs, judges, etc., etc. And it's very cost effective, meaning like you don't have to spend like $500 going to a show.
Yeah.
My average amount of money that I spend on a show, if I'm not buying a booth, is $200, no matter what. Because I'm expensive ass food if they don't have food vendors, classes, parking, gas, whatever. And the thing of it is if you can create a more positive environment, because everyone's fueled by negativity, just like this picture that's going around. If we can bring each other together and freaking, do what dog people love to do, is go out, interact, show their dogs off, and see it from different people's point of views. Because whenever you're doing that, you're also allowing that dog to be comfortable in like different situations. Like, you know, playing the radio helps with anxiety for dogs that come to shows. In this case, they're interacting with other dogs, people. They have loud noises going on, and they can be themselves. They don't feel like they're scared or skittish. And freaking, you can learn how to stack a dog properly, gait, you know, what flaws that you're not seeing yourself. And what's a freaking rack of ribs, some chicken, and some freaking like some water, Gatorades, and a cooler with ice. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And John and Tiffany Tucker with their crawfish boil they do every year, meet and greet. Like, there's something like that I think would be the most impactful, because the economy in the United States is shit. And, you know, people, they're having to budget everything. But would they rather, like, go and learn some things, like people that are scared to go to shows, and learn about them first, and be around, like, OGs like Bruce, you know, Caleb, yourself, you know, I'm nobody. But, like, just different other people, and be able to help those people. And then whenever they win, they immediately remember you, and they become like students to you. And then as the knowledge that you've gained over the years, you can pass it down to them like a waterfall into a pond.
Yeah.
And it depends what kind of sponge they are. Are they a dried out one that's not going to soak up as much water and information? Or are they a brand new fresh one, like, you know what, I'm going to soak up as much as I can, because it's going to make me better down the road.
Adam
Yeah.
said it perfect. Adam, one word: community. Community. Us coming together, we got to surround ourselves with like-minded people that are going to hold us accountable, and we got to be able to take constructive criticism from us. I'm going to brag on the area that we're in right now. You know, we have Jonte Brown, we have Doc Matthews, we have Tonio, we have Nakaya, Yana. Like, we get together and we grill out, and it's just, man, we don't even, no one even brings, sometimes it's not even dogs there, it's just us, but it's accountability. And we talk and we hold each other accountable, and there's no feelings that are involved, and what's said at the table stays at the table. And it's an accountability group, but it's amazing to have. But we've put ourselves out there where we're able to find them, and then we take constructive criticism when it's given to us. So again, the community, but it's on us to find that community, or to build the community within your community to make it, you know, like you said, cost effective.
And then it's going to increase the value of our dogs, because if you ever look on any type of bully freaking pages, it's nothing but freaking drama. Do you think these people are going to want to do business with you and all they see is negative shit whenever they look up breeders for American bullies? If they start seeing more positive things, it's going to better our market. It's going to show a value of what we see in these dogs. And freaking the egotistical bullshit, it's just like, I had it myself. I was very egotistical at one point. Like, I was like, I'm the shit. You know what I mean? Like, come milk if you buck, motherfucker. Like, type shit. And it was just like, that didn't get me nowhere. Yeah, it fueled up my freaking inner competitive nature. But it's just like, the sooner you humble yourself and can learn how to take construction criticism, that is how quickly you're going to start excelling.
Yes, because a lot of people that have been in it for a while, you know, you ask them, hey, why don't you, you know, give more knowledge or anything like that? A lot of them will say, because you're not ready to hear it, or people aren't ready to hear it, or they tell it and it just goes to unlistened ears. So
all that knowledge is gone because no one will know it.
So it's terrible. Like, we got to have those mentors to be able to mentor people in the right direction. But people have to listen to build it for them to continue to give it. Imagine continuing to give the knowledge that you have, and it's going to closed ears. Why would you keep saying the same thing over and over and over? You know, but and you know, promote for this live too. Like, hey, this live that's what it's for. It's for the community, and it's for unity. We never come on here bashing any registry, bashing any dog, any bloodline. This is just for discussion, because this is the discussions that are taking place and need to take place, and the education that needs to take place. So things like this is exactly geared for that, but we've got to keep opening ears and be open to constructive criticism. Maybe people will start giving more knowledge.
And the thing of it is, I'm gonna interrupt one more time. You know, a lot of these old school breeders that like you don't even think dogs are even around, and they're all like, "Oh, this is a son of Juggernaut," or blah blah blah. And you're like, "How come I've never seen this dog, bro?" They're the chillest motherfuckers. They do not care. They're just relaxing, having a good time. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'll go to a show, but I'm not gonna compete, but I'll watch." And freaking, they'll come out support, and you'll see them, like, at least me, I've seen the older cats are around like the kids that are like junior handlers, and they're like swapping information and they're helping each other.
Yes.
Like Matthew Meredith is a great example. But like whenever he was my judge for my first show, he told my kennel partners kids what they needed to work on with my puppy at the time. Like these guys want to do that, but they just don't want to deal with the drama. And if they see the drama's gone, they're gonna pop back out and be like, "Hey, what's going on, everyone?" Blah blah blah, and it's just gonna do nothing but better us.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of money.
There's a lot of improvement that can take place, but there's some good things that are taking place too. So again, this is bringing light to what's taking place, but also just showing both sides of it.
Mhm.
But a lot of mentors out there. A couple of our mentors, Antonio McClinney, Corey Jones, Anthony Gray. I can call these points and sit there and say, "Hey, send you this video," and it might be us in the ring. Like, "Hey, break it down," and you better be ready, especially Corey Jones, if you're gonna say, break this down for me. Like, he's gonna break it down. But that's what's needed. But again, the flip side of it, I'm playing both sides just to show both sides. We've got to be open to receive that. And so many people are closed off. So many people will sit there and say, that's my dog. I wouldn't want your dog. Like, I wouldn't point to it and be happy about it, but they see difference. So they've got to be open to that criticism. And per standard, like, hey, let's put the dog next to the standard and let's see. And be okay with the grade that your dog gets. And then figure out whether that's breed quality, whether it's going to shows, whether you need to pet home him, whether you just need to love on him. Like, there's nothing, like, man, I love dogs.
Give me my couch potato, you know?
Yes. And so every dog's not going to show quality. Hey, if the dog's having a good life and you love the dog and he's loving and he's got a good temperament and he's living a good life, love him. He doesn't got to go to shows. The dog's got to go to shows.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So one thing that I know that I've enjoyed, other, like, anytime that I've learned something from a mentor of mine, which I have plenty. Like, I always love sharing what they teach me to someone else that's new.
there we go.
And
We're supposed to do.
I have proud mom moments.
Yeah.
Like,
We're
if I'm
supposed to do.
watching them in the ring and they do what I've showed them to do and they get that ribbon,
I love it.
in that moment, I'm just like, "Oh, proud mom, yes!" I feel like I've contributed something. And it's just like, even if that's the only contribution I make that day, I could win nothing. I could win nothing. But if I help them grow, it's a win. I was there for a reason.
Yeah.
The show was worth it.
Yeah.
The trip was worth it.
Antonio McClinney says this all the time. His mentor did one thing, and asked him one thing when she was giving him all this knowledge and really, really coached him. He says this all the time. She says, "All I ask is for you to pay it forward. That's all I want. I'm not expecting anything in return. You see grand champion dogs, champion Yoko, grand champion Rick Ross. Like, in the XL world, he has done a lot of things that not many people have done in the XL world. So when he talks, I listen. And he always gives, it gives the right information and always gives credit to his mentor and says, once he gives you the information, he says, all I ask is you to pay it forward. Continue this trend. Let's start a trend where we're paying it forward and more people will get educated and more people will learn and will come."
I want to interrupt you because it's actually a touching thing for me. Whenever I won Best XL Female at ABKC Nationals last year, I mailed the trophy to Josh Stanley.
Yeah.
And that was the most happiest moment I ever had in my life in the dog world, because whenever I got in this, I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And he helped me grow steadily. Like, it wasn't, you know, easy, but I've always been upfront with Josh, just like I've been with everyone else. And whenever I gave it to him, you know, I know he really appreciated that, because I know I would have appreciated that if one of my productions did something like that.
Absolutely.
But it's just, you know, being down for each other, like actually being down, like if you were to go into an interrogation room and freaking they were trying to pin you or your buddy for murder, like you're all like, motherfucker, I'm not speaking nothing because I'm pleading the fifth and I'm keeping my mouth shut, because that's the one thing every freaking person that ever got out of prison, whatever it was, for like being interrogated.
Yeah.
Unless you really know your shit, you're
Yeah.
not gonna freaking get nowhere. Just shut the fuck up. You're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Being down for each other and wanting to see each other grow and become better.
Yes, having
And that's something I really
respect
value
for
with
one
him.
another, man. I remember that, and that was, man. If you felt good, imagine on the receiving end getting
He
that. Like,
felt good.
Oh, I'm sure Josh was cloud nining it. I'm
He
sure he
probably
just.
cried some tears.
yes, but that's respect, and that's respect to you,
Probably.
respect to him. And Josh is one of the realest, most blunt, educated people I've ever met.
He is definitely all of those
You
things.
so right. You
He's
so
all
right.
of those things.
Where's he going?
Oh no. Oh, he's on the move.
Fired up. He's
Oh,
getting fired up. He's getting
nah,
fired
I
up.
don't know what you're talking about, man.
He's going to Mexico. But Bruce, like you said about
Look
30
at all
minutes,
this money wasted.
man, I'm about to head home.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm probably
My
about to
dogs
lose
really
y'all.
need to go out.
Mine too.
Oh
Hey, I
yeah,
Hey,
my
really
dog is
enjoyed
red
this
tail.
live.
it's been great, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It
Awesome
was a
night
great live,
tonight.
and thank you, Jonathan, for filling the void. I think she's either still traveling or still situating. So, so I really appreciate you being so willing to pop in here last minute and
No
sit down
problem.
with us and go back and forth.
Allison's a really good judge.
Mm-hmm.
She's a flight nanny, whelper, really great lady. Like I said, she gave me my first place, and it was my XL bully. I'll show y'all real quick.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to have her on. We'll just reschedule and hope everything works out correctly. I know she is busy. So, but super excited to talk to her as well. But very grateful for you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, good conversation. Hey, people in the comments, thank you. Engagement was great. Really, really good open discussion where it's discussed.
Yep.
Oh
And I
yeah,
appreciate Moses. Moses came on too at the end, but
I
we're gonna have to
saw
get
that.
Moses back on here, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That
I
guy,
completely.
that I'll say right now, Moses Ortega, he is one of the most humblest persons I've ever met in my life. Like,
No
he's a
doubt.
great guy.
That's
He
for
knows
sure.
his dogs, and he's very passionate with what he does.
Yes.
Yep.
He's really consistent and he's knowledgeable and he coaches. Like, I love that too. That's what
Yep.
we need, people like that, man. But yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Moses, this is your request. If you haven't got that. But yes, definitely request.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one, man.
Later,
All
y'all.
right.
You guys
Hey, y'all have a good night.
Night. Thank you.
See y'all.
Go train.
will be